We come back here for the attempt at the overtake here on Carlos Sainz. Really nice there, but we run a little bit wide in turn one and Carlos strikes back on the inside and we just about keep him behind. Hello and welcome back to the Racing Games channel. My name is Mark and this week I am not doing a single challenge at all. Nope, not me. I think I've been relegated from challenge duties for the time being. Instead, we set Toby D the task of completing the second F1 Esports challenge here on F1 2021, this time in Hungary. And we have to try and better Lewis Hamilton's performance in Hungary by not just finishing on the podium, but actually finishing at least third, maybe higher. So for those of you that don't remember the race in Hungary, it started off pretty manic, shall we say, with the battering ram himself, Valtteri Bottas, deciding to completely wipe out half the grid on turn one. And it finished with Lewis Hamilton charging towards the podium places, but unfortunately he couldn't get past the unstoppable force that is Fernando Alonso in enough time to be able to beat Esteban Ocon to the first place finish. Thank you, Jeff. So, we set Toby the challenge of completing this challenge, and this is how he got on. So right now he's chasing down Alonso. It's, I believe, a 9-lap race, maybe a 10-lap race, completing the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and that is a pretty slick overtake there on Fernando. He made that look effortless compared to the real-life version of events. We then fast forward to the chase down of Carlos Sainz. Currently 2-ish seconds ahead of us. We will chase him down. We will catch him. And when I say we, I was in no way involved in any of this. This is all Toby's work. And you're going to see some really clean driving throughout this video, by the way. We definitely had the right man for the job for this one. For those of you that don't know, if you watch our lap guide videos, Toby records most of those as well. I tend to stay well clear of that sort of thing. So we definitely put the right person on this task. And some really nice maneuvers here. He's even decided to replicate Hamilton's real-life performance by going slightly wide on some of these corners. You know, when Hamilton's tyres started giving out and he started, should we say, exercising his option to explore the track. I think that's probably the best way of saying it. And boy, did he really push his car to the limits in Hungary. It's one of those races where, on another day, he probably would have done it. He probably would have won the race. But I think maybe the pressure got to him a little bit. That combined with, I mean, Alonso was just such a good teammate in that race. Held him off for as long as he possibly could. And even Carlos put up a bit of a fight towards the end as well. And it just wasn't quite enough. If he had 5 more laps, he probably would have done it. But as it happened, didn't quite work out for him. However, this version of Lewis Hamilton is going to pull off probably one of the best overtakes there on Carlos. The Ferrari didn't stand a chance. I love when you get the DRS wing open and you get the overtake on, and suddenly your car becomes the speed of light compared to the cars around it. So satisfying. And we fast forward again to the hunt for Seb Vettel, and here he is, and we're going to pull off another great overtake. And again, I say I was in no way involved in this, and that's a very nice send it up the inside type overtake. Nice, clean, crisp, no contact. And now we've got the battle for first place. Ocon just in front, McLaren of Ricciardo between us and him. Ricciardo yields because of the blue flags. I think we got a little bit of a slipstream off him, and again I keep saying we, and I don't know why I keep saying we. Toby got a nice slipstream off of Ricciardo there, and that allows him to go and attack Esteban on the pit straight. We get very close. And again, I've said we. Toby gets very close to Esteban there. Almost contact, but this is a clean racer in a clean race. So there's no such thing as contact. And this is the first place overtake there. Beautifully done. That pit straight is so good for overtaking. I've heard criticism of the track in Hungary in the past. You know, there was talk about was it rushed when it was first built and things like that. Having watched the race this year, I think it's a very good track for this generation of F1 cars. And it's not often you can say that on the calendar at the moment. So, yeah, I think it's a really good track. It provided a really good race. Again, thanks to Bottas, and also, who was the other battering ram on lap 1? It was Stroll, I think. They definitely made it an exciting race, those two. Took Verstappen out of the equation as well, which I guess made this a better opportunity for Hamilton to actually come in and do something. But yeah, we're going to watch the last lap parade here now as Toby celebrates the victory. He didn't just complete the challenge, he absolutely smashed it. Overtook Ocon with laps to spare. And then we get the nice little parade lap here as he completes the final lap of the race. Some really, really clean overtakes. The one on Alonso to begin with, probably my favourite, although the one on Vettel, such a short space of track to actually pull off a move like that, and without any contact as well. That's always a massive, massive achievement. So you'd think that would be that. We'd say, congratulations Toby, challenge well done, hand him the trophy and move on. But unfortunately this happened. Lost the back end a little bit, coming around the penultimate corner here. And one thing you should know about us here at Racing Games, me excluded, we're perfectionists. We like to do things properly. We don't just half-heart a challenge. Oh no, we do things properly. So because of that, losing the rear end alone, on the second to last corner of the race, Toby decided he wanted another crack at this challenge. And therefore, he went back on racinggames.gg. He got the Hungarian Grand Prix setup guide. He set the car up for a second run, and then he went at it. And we're going to join that action in just a second.
Verstappen has just put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
Run number 2 then. You ever get that feeling of deja vu? I know I do. However, saying that, the overtakes are much cleaner in this version. You'd think it couldn't possibly get any cleaner. Toby did such a good job in the first race, but no. Not only does he do better, he even does them earlier. There's Alonso, ticked off, nice and early. Pretty much the first lap, he manages to take out Fernando. Not literally, of course, just gets past him. And now we hunt down Carlos Sainz. We are exactly one lap later into the race. Carlos right in front of us. The Ferrari's exhaust is right there. Practically see it. Practically see the little bits of vapour coming out the back as we storm down the pit straight yet again. Every time I watch this back, I think surely he's not close enough to pull off the overtake on this bit. And yet he storms past him every single time. Very, very, very good driving from our main man. And he pulls off the overtake and then gets a nice clean exit here out of, I want to say turn 2. I think that's turn 2. And then turn 3 up the hill. And again, we join the action exactly a lap later, and he's caught Sebastian Vettel. See what I mean about, sometimes you just need a second go to get things absolutely spot on. And with Seb right in front of us here, sends it up the inside once again. Runs a little bit wide, but manages to recover. And that was another excellent, excellent overtake. And now the main man right in front, Esteban Ocon. I need to call him Sebastian then, I don't know why. Esteban Ocon, right in front of us. We got the back markers just in front of him as well, holding him up. I believe it is Ricciardo and I want to say Russell in this case. I think Latifi's a little bit further round. And we can get the overtake done here. And again, I say we, I mean Toby. And get the overtake done here. Charging up the hill. Senses an opportunity, wants to send it up the inside, but the door just closes at the last second there. And again, a good clean racer, knows when to pull out. If that was me, I'd have probably charged straight into the back of him, and that's why I wasn't doing this challenge. George Russell doing his bit for his future teammate there and holding up Ocon just long enough for us to slip up the inside. And again, Toby slips up the inside. I'm just sitting here commentating. And we got one last lap here to celebrate. Latifi in front. He's guiding us home until he yields there because, again, the blue flag's being waved. We are so far ahead of Ocon right now. We're almost 7.5 seconds ahead of the person we had to chase down. And again, Toby has done a fantastic job on this second race. You'd think he'd be happy with this. I know I would be. If this was me right now, I'd be going on about, what an experience it was. I'd be thanking my parents for the opportunity and all that stuff. But I guess something wasn't quite right during this race, whether it was the fact that he managed to pull off overtakes a lap earlier than he did in race 1, whether it was the fact that there was a slight speck of rain that fell on the track during the opening stages, or whether it was the fact that he's only, what are we, coming up to 8 or 9 seconds ahead of Ocon at this point. We're 13 seconds ahead of Vettel. You'd think that would be enough. But our Toby, he always sees an opportunity to just do that a little bit better. And because of that, he did go and have a third attempt, and we will join that again shortly.
Is 8.8 seconds.
Just wait for Jeff to finish giving us useless information there. Coming around the last corner, Hamilton is about to cross the line and win the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'll admit to being a bit of a Hamilton fanboy. I wish this happened in real life. Sadly, not to be. But as I said, Toby wanted one more go at this. He just thought he could do a little bit better, get those overtakes in a little bit earlier. Maybe get that overtake on Ocon going up the hill rather than waiting until we're at the top. So we're going to join the action for attempt number 3.
Verstappen has just put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
So here we go then, attempt number 3. Like I said just now, if this was me, I'd have gone 2 attempts. That's good enough. I managed to complete it. Both times, in fact. It's not even like the first time was a fail and the second time was a win. First place. We're only supposed to get third, and yet Toby got first place twice. And yet here we go for attempt number 3.
Valtteri's dropped out of the race.
Now, when I watched this back before, when I was thinking about what to say during this commentary, I heard Jeff say Valtteri's dropped out of the race. Didn't he drop out of the race in like lap 2 or 3? And we're in lap 62 right now, so I don't know why they decided to include that, but there we go. Anyway, Fernando taken care of very, very early this time. But I think this is the earliest that we took care of Fernando. Again, a really nice overtake. I didn't even know overtaking was possible on that part of the track, but Toby proves me wrong there, and proves a lot of you wrong, I imagine, that you can in fact overtake on this track, and not just on the pit straight, or the second straight, which isn't actually straight, but never mind. And we come back here for the attempt at the overtake here on Carlos Sainz. Really, really nice there, but we run a little bit wide in turn 1, and Carlos strikes back on the inside, and we just about keep him behind out of turn 1. Coming into turn 2 though, he's still on the outside and he's looking to get the move done, but thankfully Toby shuts the door and keeps him at bay. Just like Fernando there, that was some excellent hold-up work from Toby to keep Carlos behind. A little bit wide on that first corner, and that's what nearly set into motion losing that place again. Now we got the hunt for Seb Vettel once more, which was almost going to be the title of this video, until I remembered I actually have to name it after the challenge. But again, finding the bit of the track where overtakes normally aren't possible. Seb tries to shut the door there, actually, didn't leave the space. And we know, they shout it on the radio enough, you must always leave the space. Thankfully though, Toby is a better driver than that, and he manages to stay off the grass and still pull off the overtake. And that's Vettel dealt with. And once again, thank you Jeff, once again, it is just us and Ocon at the top of the grid. Once again, we've also got the back markers here, Russell and Ricciardo, who seem to be racing very much in their own little bubble right now, trying to get moves done. Not holding up Ocon this time either, which is unfortunate, and in some ways holding up Toby, but thankfully Ricciardo there pulls out of the way to let him through. Now it's just us, George and Esteban, which next year could well be a fight for a podium, who knows. There's Toby reenacting Hamilton running wide on some corners again. Very, very nice, throwing in the realism, just for all the detail fans out there. Right now, George is not. Actually, no, that is Ocon in front of us. What am I talking about? Ocon being held up by Russell again. Again, Russell doing a solid for his future teammate here. And then there's the blue flags. Russell does now have to get out of the way, both Ocon and Toby. But that opens the opportunity. We are right behind Esteban. Again, could we go around the outside here? Not quite. Just wasn't quite available. But the pit straight is just around this corner here, and we know what Toby's capable of on the pit straight. And as soon as that DRS ding goes, rear wing opens, the overtake is on. Actually, it's not on, but it would have been on had he had battery. And there's the overtake done. Esteban tries to fight back again around the inside of turn 1, but just like with Carlos, the door slams shut. The maneuver is pulled off. Esteban tries again there around the outside of turn 2. And we did see some action around turns 1 and 2 in terms of overtaking. But again, Toby's better than that. He knows how to keep drivers behind cleanly as well. Again, if this was me, I'd be a proper battering ram right now, the widest car on the grid. But Toby knows what he's doing, and he keeps Esteban behind. And just like that, crosses the line to take the third victory in the F1 Esports Challenge.
Final lap of the race.
And thankfully this time he does decide that this is enough. You know, 3 victories when 1 was enough is definitely more than you need. And again, some really, really good clean driving, some excellent overtakes. Being able to overtake a driver on a certain part of the track and then going back and pulling off pretty much the same maneuver but earlier in the race, that's an achievement in itself. Everyone was clean. There was no contact as far as I could see. There might have been a little bit there with Ocon at the end. I think Ocon drove into the back of Toby though, so it would have been Ocon's fault. Some excellent teamwork from Russell for someone who isn't even on his team. Ricardo as well, also playing his part. And then Latifi always pops up on this final lap just to say hello as well. You know, he doesn't really contribute much. He just was in the race. So here he is. And in fact, I think he's just about to pull off to the side here to let us through maybe. Or are we going to... I don't think we actually catch him on this attempt. Oh no, there he is. And he pulls off and lets us through. And just like that, attempt number 3 is coming to its conclusion. We got 1 more corner to go. And then it's all over. So, as I said, if this was me, once would have been enough. And I would have found a way to eke that out over the time slot. But Toby is a perfectionist. He likes to go back and try again and try again. And 3 very, very solid races, to be fair. 3 very, very solid races. Driver of the day, Lewis Hamilton. Thanks to our very own Toby D. Very, very impressed with the performance there. Some awesome, solid racing. And we finally get to see Hamilton stand on the top step of the podium in Hungary for a brief moment. And then we're going to have a look at Toby's score. Now, this is the challenge for you guys. If you are taking on the F1 Esports Challenge, let us know in the comments down below or over on our Discord. Link is in the description. What your score was. You'll see Toby's score in just a second. I think it's a very good score myself. I want to have a crack at beating it myself. But do let us know down below how you got on and whether or not you completed the challenge. Until then, though, thank you very much for watching. I've been Mark from Racing Games. And until next time, take care.